Welcome to the Dave Pamah Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Pamah.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Pamah Show. And today on the Dave Pamah Show, we are joined by Dr. Kate Lund, a clinical psychologist, resilience expert, and author who's turned her own experience as a child facing a serious medical condition into a lifelong mission to help others thrive, from parents and kids to athletes and entrepreneurs, all while raising an 18-year-old twins, boys, and bringing smiles to children at Seattle Children's Hospital with her therapy dog, Wally. Kate Lund, welcome to the Dave Pamah Show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dave. This is great.
It's fantastic having you here. I'm sure we're going to have a good conversation around, obviously, something I'm sort of carried on after retirement from the fire service, which is some resilience work. First kind of gave me a little bit of a shocking when I heard about a couple of firefighters that committed suicide, one in a neighbouring fire station to me and then one in another city further away from me. And then it tends to be in America as well. You know, the first, it's more that going on than the actual line of duty deaths, meaning, what could, what's so, a lot going on, and a lot of psychologists like yourself doing research around that area as well. Anyway, so I used to be an athlete as well, so you work around that as well, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
I did.
What sport did you play?
Oh, I did track, but I did it at school, did it on a reasonable level. I did the Commonwealth Games, so you've probably heard of it. And then so there was an overlap of my fire service career and and doing sports like that. I competed for the fire service, was the European champ and things like that. So it was really like a easy combination because you had to keep fit, didn't you? Really? So
awesome. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, Dr. Kate, you lived resilience from so many angles as a child facing medical challenges, as a mum, and as a psychologist, helping others build their inner strength. So can you take us back to one of the earliest moments in your life when you first realized what resilience really meant and how that experience shaped the work you do today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm not sure that I really understood what resilience meant when I was 4, when I was diagnosed with this medical condition called
Okay.
hydrocephalus.
Yeah.
Where,
Do you want to tell us why it was, or?
yeah, I sure can.
And what era are we talking about? Because obviously I'm 60. You don't have to say your age because I know it's rude to ask a woman's age. But just give us an idea of just to know it wasn't noticed around those days. Because I know a lot of stuff. I have dyslexia,
Right.
and then dyslexia wasn't understood when I was at school.
Right, exactly. It was in the mid 70s, the mid
Ah,
1970s. So,
yeah,
technology in this area was sort of in its infancy, right?
that's
So,
right. Yeah.
I was 4 and I all of a sudden got a lot of headaches. I got really sick. I was throwing up all
Mm,
the time, and it was really hard for the doctors to understand what was going on.
yeah.
But finally they figured it out. It was something called hydrocephalus, which is where the cerebral spinal fluid isn't circulating as it should, causing pressure to
Oh,
build up on the brain.
wow. That's a
So
very highly specialized, rare kind of thing, isn't
that
it?
was pretty rare, and it still is on the rare side, but
Mm,
it's folks know much more about it today. But the good news is shunts, which are the thing that help the spinal fluid circulate when it can't do it on its own, were in their infancy, and they were around in the mid 70s. So I got a shunt and it solved the problem. The issue is that shunts break. So that meant that throughout my childhood, I was in and out of the hospital, coming back to school after missing long periods in the classroom, looking
mm,
different, feeling different. And so, I had a great support system around me, which was really, really fortunate. People who helped me to focus on what I could do as opposed to what I couldn't do. And I think that was the first seed of in my mind what would then become my passion for studying resilience, understanding how we move through and beyond challenges while focusing on what we can do and not so much on what we can't do while also managing the challenge, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it goes back to those early days, and then it's evolved since then, obviously, with you know becoming a psychologist, and also my life as a mom. That's a whole different angle on the whole situation.
Yeah. So that's really what shaped you to do the work you do today, then, basically.
Yeah, I would say so for
Uh,
sure. And it's, kind of a foundation in my mind for how we can help people think about the possibilities on the other side of the challenges that they face.
yeah. And how did that experience shape it, though? I mean, to the work you did today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it certainly did, right? Because
Oh.
I have worked in environments, children's hospitals, lots of different hospitals, lots of different medical settings, lots of different situations that folks are contending with. But the key is how to help them see where their strengths are and how
Mm.
they can use those to navigate through the challenges that are going to inevitably come up. And I think that lens was definitely shaped in my own childhood.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, when you was 18, you knew what you wanted to do, basically.
I did, it did evolve though. I went to college and I studied psychology. When I graduated from college, I wasn't ready to go right back to graduate school. So I went off and I did some work in the marketing, PR, and broadcast arenas,
Oh,
and
right,
I
okay.
loved it. So
Yeah,
have that dual interest, and I
yeah.
loved it. And I worked in that field for about 4 or 5 years,
Oh, okay. I didn't.
knowing that eventually I would go back to graduate school and become a psychologist.
Yeah.
But that time in sort of another domain where understanding people and interacting with people and understanding human behavior was a big piece of it. So that happened, and I think really has solidified my foundation even further in my work as a psychologist because it gave me another angle on understanding people.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you did have that because you've got your own podcast anyway, haven't you? So that kind of gives an understanding as to how you can blend it all in and everything's kind of come together for you, really, So,
Exactly,
uh,
exactly. And one
yeah.
of the most kind of impactful experiences I had during that time, it was actually when I was just about to graduate from college. I did an internship at the White House, and I
Oh,
was
okay.
on the White House lawn with all of the media and I was setting up chairs. I was an intern, but it
Oh,
was a wonderful experience to observe that kind of a thing up close in action.
mm.
Gave me the idea that maybe it was a little intense, a little bit fast paced for me in the long term, but it was a awesome experience to have in terms of again
Wow, in the White
understanding
House. I mean, wow.
understanding human behavior. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's
that
like
was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's like working in Buckingham Palace or the Houses of Parliament here, isn't it, really? So, well, actually,
Right.
Congress would be House of Parliament, I suppose. But, the White House is kind of, yeah, a bit like that. Well, 10 Downing Street for our kind of version of it, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you say setting up chairs, you mean chairs of meetings or setting up, because I can't see you setting up chairs ready for them to sit on.
Well, no, I just I use that as sort of a example of, I was an intern, so I was
Yeah,
doing to help people out. I wasn't
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Not
it's
not
part of
not
it.
not real chairs setting them up. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So,
Precisely.
so please
Precisely.
don't
Yeah.
call me stupid. I had a lot of that when I was a kid and a little of my early life, adult life. So I don't need any more of that. All right, I
Right.
understand now.
Precisely.
I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. And then anyway, so from that early start and with the mix of what you've done, it led to being a psychologist and specializing straight away in the area of work you do now. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely evolved over time. I started with a very specific focus in medical psychology, working with kids and families with who had a significant medical issue within the family, usually with the child.
Mm.
But then we moved around a lot with my husband's job, so I kind of
Yeah.
shifted
Ah.
gears. And that's the cool thing about being a psychologist. You can work across domains, if
Yeah.
you get the specific training and such. So one of the things that's come into that mix is working with athletes, which I
Yeah.
do a lot of now, and helping
Oh.
them overcome
Oh, you do?
performance
Okay.
challenges and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, right. We can talk more about that. Because I was actually going to come on to your two books that you, which I will have personal interest in. Is the first one is about working with athletes. I've got the name of it now. Oh, gosh, I've got to find it somewhere. And the second one was more step back to do with parenting, isn't it? Really. So you say the
yeah,
names. You say the names, and
yeah.
then
Well,
we'll go through both of them.
yes, my first book was Bounce, Help Your Child Build Resilience and Thrive in School, Sports, and Life.
That's it. Yeah.
That hits on sports and helping kids be resilient. But the pillars outlined in Bounce apply to all of us across the
Yeah.
lifespan. So that's the first one. That was in 2017. The second one was just published a couple weeks ago, and it's called Step Away: The Keys to Resilient Parenting. And
Right. Okay.
that
So I have a
talking about, oh,
I have
sorry.
I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I I think that's a very pivotal age in terms of development and door slamming and shouting and wanting to be a teenager. And this online stuff is really crazy as well, you know. And
Oh
she's
yeah.
got a kind of like neuro version of a neurodiverse like me as well with dyslexia, but
Mhm.
I don't want to broadcast it all the time because it won't be fair on her, obviously, for future stuff. But you know, it's parenting is challenging, isn't it? Really. But the other one, bounce, I like that. I when I wasn't diagnosed at school, obviously sports was a way out for me, so that's why I took up track. But there was a lot of there was a lot of bullying and social wise in a wider perspective there was a lot of stuff going on in society, racism and stuff like that. And obviously, you came out the back end of civil rights movement in your country,
Right.
and obviously women's movement as well, and stuff like that was all going on in the mid 70s to now. So when I was 10 years old, which was mid 70s, sports was my way out. It was a relaxing thing to do with track, especially. I mean, of course, you know, it's kind of tends to be that or basketball or something like that that people sort of really did it because it was, you know, not to say, I mean, I managed to get a politics degree in the end, but you know, where I was failing at school, it made sense with the short-term memory and processing issues and all the other social thing that came with it. Made sense. And of course, you know, I wanted to be a firefighter as well, and then it happened, you know. So I was quite lucky and with my accomplishment because they're very difficult things to get into and to do on a high level, and I just managed to do them. But the book Bounce resonates with me, you know, and I'm sure it will with most of my listeners because they know my story. I bring guests in to try and have them fit to what people would listen to. So tell us more about that book.
Of course, yeah, and that's so awesome how you leveraged your strengths to get to where you wanted to go, and I love
Yeah.
that. That's really at the core of Bounce. So Bounce outlines 7 pillars of the resilient child that kind of were derived from my work as a psychologist for 20 plus years, my life as a mom to 18-year-old twin boys, and also a little bit on my own kind of experiences early on as kind of forming the foundation for these pillars. Um, and the pillars are uh, managing emotion and frustration. So
Hmm.
it's managing our stress response, keeping it very level, and teaching our kids to do the same. Because if we hit a challenge and we're escalated, we're going to escalate further to the point of shutdown. And
Mm.
that's not going to be good. It's going to shut us down and such that we can't function. Navigating friendship and social pressure. There's a pillar on sustaining attention and focus. The next
Which
pillar
was an
is
issue with my dyslexia at the time, but not to say I didn't have it because I managed to use it in my adult life with what I did, you know.
right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah, it's figuring out in sort of small steps how you can attend to certain things. And then as you internalize your ability to do that, it becomes easier, particularly if you're focusing on
Mm.
something
That
that
makes
you're
sense.
passionate about and
Yeah.
such. Yeah. And
Oh,
then we talk about courage and confidence, motivation.
well, certainly had a lot of that with what I did. Courage
Yeah.
and confidence, yeah. Motivation, yeah,
Yeah, the courage to take that first step forward, even if things
yeah,
seem hard, the
yeah.
courage to start again if you don't succeed the first time out of the gate. All of those things so important, right? In helping us to move forward. So all of these pillars apply to all of us across the
Hmm.
lifespan. But the book Bounce is written through the lens of, okay, we're going to help our kids to develop these things.
Yeah. And it's fantastic, really, because as I say, I see me in that book, and you now hit the nail. Really, as I say, it does resonate with me, even when you speaking about it. I'm thinking, yeah, that's what happened, you know. But obviously, you're doing it from a psychologist talking about it, which I worked around psychologists and sports psychologists, but really, it's the coach's job. You know, they get all that information and then coach you to put that into practice. What your book's about, really, from a sports perspective. Obviously from school is the same. Education psychologists are involved, and they will do that for the teachers to put into perspective, and you know, and things like that, isn't it? It's not the 4-year-old child or 10-year-old child's job to to look at all that stuff. We just do it, don't we? Really, when we're kids.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that supportive kind of mentor or person in your life, whether it's a coach, a teacher, a parent,
Mm,
the parent of a friend or what have you. Yeah, exactly. Helping kids to put these things in practice, to develop a framework and to believe, really to believe in themselves and to believe in their own abilities within their own unique context. That's a really important point because we're all coming from different places, different contexts, different experiences, and helping kids, even when they struggle, to flourish within that context, whatever that looks like for them, is really important.
yeah, no, fantastic. Well, you know, I'll have to have a more deeper dive into that book if I go into like it's a bit. I'm sure it's in bookshops or on Amazon anyway. And then so the parenting one. Tell us the name and more about that one, because that's something I probably could use right now, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. That book is called Step Away:
Yeah.
The Keys to Resilient Parenting.
Well,
And
that does come to mind every now and then, but I can't step away from my daughter. You know,
well,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Take a
yeah,
pause back. No, you know,
exactly. Take a
don't
pause
kind
and
of get emotionally
certainly
wrapped
not.
up and.
Yes, right. Not to stay mired in the stress of the moment, right? To
Mm,
know when and how to take that step back so that you're fostering your own well being so that you
yes.
have more to give in those
Yeah.
difficult situations.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
No.
so definitely not saying to step away from your
No,
family.
no,
Very
it's a
good.
little joke there, but yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is right. Yeah, it is, and the message can't be any clearer now to parents these days. Is really look at taking self care of for yourself first, because that will help the child, wouldn't it?
Precisely, exactly.
Yeah.
You have more to give. You're able to optimize your ability to parent the best you can within,
Yes.
again, your own context, which
Yeah.
is going to only benefit your child.
Yeah. And I think although it's probably something that's done for centuries, it's a bit like I mean, I have certain illnesses myself right now, and you know, some of the modern you know, medicine journals for doctors saying, "Oh, exercise is brilliant. It causes T cells to do that to the immune system and do that and blah blah blah." And I've been doing exercise since 1975. You know, why did it take you so long to use that as a prescription? It's like, but it's the same with self care, isn't it? It's been around for a long time, but of course, I know you're saying it now, but it's something that you know it's so obvious, and parents should do it, shouldn't they? They're not doing it because they're doing the old method, traditional method, shouting, "Ah," you know, and things like that, and pulling their hair, whatever.
Yeah, doing
You know what I'm
doing all
saying?
that.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I definitely do. And
Yeah,
it breaks you down, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
it doesn't. So sometimes parents or sometimes we all feel like maybe we shouldn't take the time to care for ourselves because we're taking time away from something else. But really, you're creating time by
yeah,
caring for yourself
yeah.
because you're going to be able to give that much more.
Yeah. And my thing is, oh, Lord, let her throw a tantrum in her bedroom. I'll come back to that in a minute. I'm just going to regroup and do what I need to do, and then go back when she's calmed down and say, well, you know what you just done there, blah, blah, blah. And then when she's got it in a prefrontal cortex and can process it properly, because it takes time as a child, even longer than an adult, and then really correct it that way.
100%,
Mm,
yes. And so, and understanding, the way that the child is processing information,
mm.
understanding that you're processing information,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can, it helps with that communication flow.
Yeah, it does make a slightly different to understand that individual part because of the neurodiverse of me and my daughter. Everyone's different with their neurodiversity, so you have to look at the way the brain's wired up even more to say, okay. I mean, everyone's different anyway. Everyone's unique, and parenting's unique actually, from what I've learned as well, isn't it?
100%, 100%. And that's a big piece of what I talk about in my new book, Step Away, that
Mm,
there's no one size fits all. It's a question of really figuring out what's going to work best for you in your own unique context. That's the key.
yeah, yeah. Ah, that's fantastic. Um, So going back to the other book, you say you work with athletes, a lot of athletes nowadays, really. So what's the sort of work you do then,
Yeah, so I
in relation?
generally, so right now it's generally adolescent athletes. So
Oh,
I'm working
okay,
with
yeah.
a couple soccer players, for example,
Oh,
and
really? Okay, you do soccer players. Okay, yeah. So
yeah,
obviously, it's our number one sport here, so
yeah, I sure do.
you can't get
Absolutely.
away from it, even if you don't play football.
Right. Even if you don't play
Even if you
it,
hate
it's
it, you can't get away from it. It's like NFL, really. It's like your NFL. So.
right, right,
Mm.
exactly. And so I help kids to overcome performance blocks, manage their stress response so that they're
Oh,
going
okay.
out onto the field,
Yeah,
more of a clear mind, so they're
yeah,
not, chewing on the stresses of what could go wrong, all
yeah,
of that. Um, so that's a big piece of the work, helping them to believe in themselves and
yeah,
what they're putting out there. And
yeah.
so really, really enjoy that work. And it's a lot of fun, and it's nice to see kids thrive in doing something that they love.
Yeah, oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I know all about that, obviously, because I mean, I did some breathing and meditation and visualization and stuff like that. Um, and then, of course, if in clubs and things like that, they will, if they can afford it, have a sports psychologist on board. Otherwise, the coach's job is to probably research all that, isn't it, and get the team going in the right direction. Because especially things like soccer, it's big money, so you can't afford to not to not have the mind right when you go on the field, or tennis court, or wherever. It's not just only team sports, it's every sport, really, isn't it? And as I say, I had to do it myself. Track's a poorer sport in comparison to those sports, you see. So I play a little bit of golf now, but it's just for fun, really. So.
I'm a golfer too,
Oh,
just
yeah, all right. Yeah,
for fun. Yeah, yep, yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's good.
Great.
It's good for the mind, actually. It's out in nature. You're focusing. It's actually, if you don't mind playing it, so yeah,
Yeah,
you can see my
it is
shoulder. You can see the that's the putter, by the way. It's not a full swing. It's just a putter. My shoulders are moving too much. You're supposed to keep it a bit still, aren't you?
yeah.
Sorry, anyone listening. This is an audio first podcast, but if you're watching it on YouTube, you'll see my shoulders. Yeah,
Um,
no, it's nice, but I did it obviously because I wasn't allowed. One of the conditions I've got is a heart condition, and I'm not allowed to do competitive sports. But they said you can do golf. Then if you're walking around, you're in nature. You can, um,
and you've
it's
got
getting
fresh
you to
air,
moving,
right?
and yeah, fresh air and everything else that comes with it. So I was quite happy about that because I'm a bit of a competitive beast, really. So. Yeah, and I still can keep fit. I can still keep fit. Obviously, you have to, don't you? You have to do some form of
Movement, yes.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
so
And it's good for the
important
mind.
for your
Yeah, it's good
mindset.
for
Yeah.
mind and body, So,
Mhm.
yeah.
100%,
Mm.
100%. Yeah.
So that's the kind of work you do. Yeah. So really, you're almost like a sports psychologist as well, really, aren't you?
Yeah, I have a certification in sports psychology,
Oh,
and
okay. So that's it. Yeah.
it's something that I added in again
Mm.
based on, passion and places where I really enjoy working. And finding those kids and actually some adults who are really motivated to improve in their given sport or what have you. It's just it's a lot. It's very satisfying. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I do manage to have guests on my show that have a similarities to my story. Obviously struggling as a kid with some kind of, undiagnosed dyslexia. Obviously, yours with your uh brain fluid thing, was it? I can't remember. Spine fluid. Well,
fluid.
anyway, it's the same system, isn't it? So, and obviously moving on to, because obviously I did a physical thing really, but I went into life coaching or resilience coaching now. It pivoted during the pandemic actually, and my podcast blew. It was, wow, everyone just wanted to come into it, either that or Netflix, because what are you going to do if you're trapped in a room? If some people were just in one room, box room, and like overnight, it's like you're staying home. You didn't have a chance to collect anything.
Such a shift, such a major shift. So that's wonderful. That's awesome. So folks are tuning in, huh?
Some people couldn't even have a choice but to pivot, and I thought, well, what can you do? I've got these podcasts already going. I only did 8, and I had a book already out aimed at inspirational speaking. I was going to schools already just before I retired from the fire service. So it was like, well, just try and put everything online, and people just started coming with the book. And then a coaching company where I'm still with, on an app similar to Calm and Headspace, competing with them, headhunted me. So I'm a life coach on there, resilience coach, really, about life coach, you could say. So I furthered that, and that's where I am now. The podcast was I had the BBC trying to say, well, get me some snippets of some of the athletes you're around, and we'll use you as a contributor. We'll play it and try and get you on board doing some broadcasting on my days off from firefighting. This was and then I'd never pursued it really. They were trying to get me more and more involved with them, and see if I want to come on board doing that. And like yourself, I didn't really pursue it. And then the podcast was easy because I went out with on a 4-day thing, doing how they do everything in the radio station. Went out with the film crew to some top soccer clubs, with the big international names who you see, and so I thought, that's how it's all done, so it's like, it was a great memory of mine. But then I thought, I'm going to put all this into this podcast because this is what I always really wanted to do, have my own talk show. Tell us more about your podcast.
That is so cool. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it's only a 4-day thing, but yours, obviously, you did yours for 4 or 5 years.
And in different ways. So
in different ways. That's right.
Yeah. No, fascinating. No, so my podcast is called The Optimized Mind, and basically it's focused on capturing the human experience of resilience.
Okay.
And how folks move through and beyond challenge. Just really hearing the stories of those people that I interview.
Okay. Yeah.
How they're moving through and beyond challenge. Maybe they've built something. Maybe they're a parent who's struggling with, something going on with their child. I interview a lot of authors. It's just the thread is the human experience of resilience and how that's playing out across different domains in different ways for those that I interview.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, it's good that we have some like-minded people like yourself on my show as well, and doing similar things. I just really appreciate you coming on the show. But before you go, just tell people how they can find out more about you and where they can find your books and everything else about you.
Sure, absolutely. So my website is www.katelundspeaks.com. And I'm also very accessible on LinkedIn. And my books are on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, really anywhere that you buy books.
Yeah. Fantastic. Similar to my book, really, but I just say it's on Amazon. It makes it easier when everything's online. You say, look, just dip in there and just take it. But yeah, fantastic. Well, Kate, it's really been a great pleasure having the show. And, sometimes I use my stories to illustrate what the podcast guest is saying, but obviously the show's about you and bringing your story to life to the audience. And you've done a great job today. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you for having me. I so appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts, or head over to my website, davepamah.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Pamah Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.